This is the plaintiff, Michael Drake. He says he hired the defendant, an electrician, to rewire his house because he had some code violations and the work was never completed. He paid him $3,620 up front. He didn't get what he paid for, and he's here suing him to get it back. This is the defendant, Alan. He says he bent over backwards for the plaintiff because the guy's house was very old. There were 3 separate units sharing one electrical meter, which is illegal, and the plaintiff abruptly pulled the plug on him right in the middle of the job. Bottom line, he earned his $3,620 and isn't returning it. He's accused of electrifying the situation.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant, an electrician, to rewire his house. The guy didn't do the job, but the defendant says the house was really old and the plaintiff threw him out in the middle of the job. It's the case of go fly a kite.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Michael Drake.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Alan, who you hired as an electrician because, according to you, he won't finish a job you paid him for. Tell me about that.
Ma'am, this case revolves around a house built 1890. It was purchased April of 2016, closed in July 2016 as an income property. It was purchased by my parents who reside in Ocala, Florida. They would be here today. Fortunately, flight risk due to stage 4 brain cancer and congenital heart failure.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I have the durable...
You're the one who knows all of it anyway. You're the person I would need to speak to.
Correct. I hold durable power of attorney for them. I am their designated property manager for this premise.
So how'd you find the defendant?
Actually, I'm a Lyft driver on the side, and
Okay.
he was a rideshare at that point in time.
He was in your car as a passenger?
Passenger, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you hired him to do what? What was the problem with the house?
Okay, the problem was that there are 3 existing electric meters on the house, 2 of which are occupied by 2 of the tenants. The other one is a house meter, which my parents actually pay for. And the utility company came in when the tenant tried to transfer the electric meter over into her name, found out that it was a house meter, so a 4th electric meter dedicated to the 3rd upstairs apartment needed to be acquired.
Right. So if she didn't get her own, then your parents were paying for the tenant's electricity.
For her electric, yes.
Had they been doing that and didn't realize it, or they knew it as soon as they bought the house?
Prior to, there was no tenant up until this particular one.
Okay. I'm kind of, I presume there was an inspection, so an inspection would have told you guys that. You keep talking about how, either way, it doesn't matter. You hire him to separate, to add a 4th panel so that that tenant, and I presume that whatever splitting it into a 3-family is legal?
Yes, according to.
So you hire him to split the panels. Is that the right term, split the panels, or to create another panel?
He wanted a dedicated panel so that
For that apartment.
Just pays for what he has in the common area.
Right.
So it's like,
So
I had
what
to
was the
split it.
agreement, according to you, about how much that would cost?
It was a as I go thing, because there's things I'm gonna find that I don't know about. You know what I mean? I gotta split the whole house up, and it's a 100-year-old house. So I mean, it took me a while to do it, you know what I mean? I'm sorry about the shaking, I have a health issue.
Okay, everybody has a health issue. I'm sorry for everyone's health issues, for their family's health issues. Let me just ask you a question right now. How did you get a client who said, I'll pay you whatever you want? You just name the price as you go along, because
you don't know what materials I'm gonna need.
I mean, but did you give him a ballpark?
Yeah, ballpark.
Okay.
But I told him there was gonna be other things, somewhere around 5,000.
You told him somewhere around 5?
Right, by the time I was all said and done, inspection fees, all the work.
Okay.
I gotta
now he
do it.
says you told him somewhere around
4,000.
4.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
That's
Do you have
not
any
true.
proof that he told you somewhere
It was
around 4?
oral, ma'am.
Right. Yeah. Well, do you get that verbal assurance in a text or an email or a contract or anything?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
Does it make sense that somebody would hire a worker to do a job at a house and not ask how much it's going to cost? Do you believe that?
No, well, you should agree on a price first, and then from there you got to see.
You should. Is it conceivable, I guess, that somebody would say, oh yeah, just go ahead and do it without asking how much?
No, I think it's pretty much common sense. Ask for the price before you start the job.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
So when push came to shove, you got some work done, right?
Correct, and bought materials.
And what was the work that you got done?
So I split the whole house and got ready to put the 4th meter in.
Okay.
But to buy the quadruple meter socket, it's $1,600.
Say that again. The actual 4th meter itself.
It's all one piece.
Okay.
You got to take the old one off and move it.
Okay.
And then you add the 4th one. But it's hard to do. It's an underground service that goes to a transformer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not like you do it in a day.
So the discussion happened between you two by text when you told him it'll be an additional $1,600, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, you had paid how much?
$3,620.
Okay, so that, if he asked for another 16 and there was another 400 that you were envisioning, then that means that he was asking you for $1,200 more than what you thought the whole thing would cost. So let's see the text. Do you have them in your phone, the texts that go back and forth between you two gentlemen about this issue?
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, I know. All right. You say, can I stop by tomorrow and get the material money? And he says, how much are we talking? When I gave you the last $2,000, you stated that should do it. You answer, that was to finish the house and permit fees. The 4-gang meter socket alone cost $1,600 with the lugs and hardware. He says, initial payment of $1,500 to $1,600, additional payment of $2,000. The job took a lot of hours. It took 2 weeks just to split the electric. Alan, those are not the customer's problems. Please get it done ASAP. What do you mean it's not the customer's problem? I bill for my time. How is this not your problem? I spent endless hours trying to help you. To which he answers, I do not have the time to be poached for more money when the only figure you've provided me is $1,600. You were paid $1,600 up front. You were then paid $2,000 additional. I'd say that's a $2,000 profit. Please complete the job now. You respond, that's BS, Mike. You're not going to pay what I'm owed. Call someone else. I got over 140 man hours into this job. I didn't make any profit. Then bill me what you think you are owed. Otherwise, you know my next move. To which you respond, actually, I don't. I bent over backwards for you. I don't appreciate the way you're treating me. Find someone else to do your electrical work. 10-4, you respond, you now have a lawsuit. Congratulations. When you send a text that says, I do not have time to be poached for more money when the only figure you've provided me is $1,600, you were paid $1,600 up front, you were then paid $2,000 additional, I'd say that's a $2,000 profit. Please complete the job now. Why is what you're saying not you agreed to do this job for $4,000 tops? Why isn't that what you say if that's in fact your agreement?
My argument was the original $1,500 plus tax was for materials. Then I paid labor of $2,000. Then I was asked for another $1,600 for materials again.
You're the guy with the burden of proof when you come into court. When you're the plaintiff, you have to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that it is more likely than not that it is as you say it is. You've come in here without one iota of proof that there was a cap of $4,000. And in fact, what I see in a text is you complaining, you know what, I paid you enough. I don't expect that to be the case if there was an agreement for $4,000, tops. I expect you to say, you told me that the tops would be $4,000. That's what I expect you to say. Because when you have such an agreement, for someone to charge you more than that is ludicrous. So if someone's trying to charge you more than that, the obvious move in your text is to say, you said we'd be done at $4,000, tops. But that's not what you say. You make it sound like it is touchy-feely, we'll see as we go along. So what exactly is happening now? Well, now you guys hate each other and the work can't be done. Have you gotten somebody else and, to quote what the extra will be to get it resolved?
Not yet.
Okay, well, I'm not going to make him return any money to you because I don't find that you've proven by a preponderance of the evidence that you had some arbitrary $4,000 cap on this 100-year-old house. My verdict is for the defendants.
So the plaintiff does not prevail. Mr. Drake, what are you going to do now? You're right back where you left off. The house isn't finished, right?
The house isn't finished. I will hire another electrician to complete it. I also will go back on the seller for a lawsuit if the statute of limitations applies for putting me in this position.
The seller?
The seller.
Of the house?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay. All right, Alan, well...
How are you?
You're sweating a little bit. Were you worried?
A little stressed. No, I told the truth. So I wasn't really worried. I have a shaking, bro.
Oh, that's all right. I just wondered if you were worried about losing the case.
No, I wasn't.
Good. So you keep the money. All right.
Correct.
Congratulations.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Harvey?
You know, Doug, a lot of times when you hire somebody to do work at your home, they can't give you an exact price, so they give you an estimate. That's fine, but an estimate, you can go way up from an estimate. So the key to this is that when you hire somebody and they don't give you an exact price, make them put a cap on the maximum amount that they would charge you.